schools and other areas other than that. So we need to do better business, and we're not doing it.
I have a question.
For Ms. Holland?
Thank you. Once again, this is a great forum. I enjoyed the one you had a couple days ago. My question is for the commissioner and commissioner candidate. I'm sorry, moving left. The charter form of government, you got the charter board has been formed. Regardless of whatever the charter board comes up, I would like to know your personal opinion. Do you like the way it exists right now with 5 commissioners, or you want the county executive like Prince George's County, the tax may go higher, and the county council? I throw it out to you. Thank you.
Hold on, can I ask a question, man? Can maybe explain why
I would like to do
the
that.
demographic of this county has changed? And guess what? It needs some representation. In fact, you have one of the individuals who's not here, Camilla Way, who's a candidate. He's on that committee. She didn't even recuse herself from being on that committee.
Could I answer that? Because this is something that I feel kind of strongly about. If you go back and you look at the minutes from the commissioners' meeting back in December of, that would have been 2012, okay? The commissioners received a briefing about charter form of government, and we were told certain things by the county attorney. Number one, that there would be a complete timeline presented to the board before we started. Number two, we were told that there would be input early on in the process before they started writing a charter. We were given those assurances.
Input from whom?
From our county attorney. These were the assurances. This is what the commissioners voted on. This is what we thought we were getting.
We thought we
And may I please? And so we don't interrupt, Ken. This is a forum. And so and then we're faced with appointing people to this committee. One of the things we talked about, without violating any confidentiality, we were all very clear that no one on this committee should have political ambition, should be someone who's going to run for office, and here's why. When you're going out educating people about the charter, you're now putting yourself in a position where you're sort of getting extra political capital, if you will. It was not a good practice. It didn't feel good, it didn't look right, and it also could make one wonder if people on this board were political, either as candidates or politically aligned with any of the commissioners. Could they be pushing a certain outcome that maybe certain commissioners wanted? We were assured that Camilla Way, Leonard Collins, and Kimberly Hayes were not political as well as everyone else. Okay, now fast forward to March 3rd, I believe it was. March 3rd or March 5th? March 5th, I think. Okay, whatever. So early that morning, now remember folks, ever since Resolution 2012-18, I no longer have any input or responsibility for the agenda. Always the president of this board of commissioners, historically, has had the responsibility of the agenda. The commissioner president and a commissioner understands what's coming, what's going, what's been there. But I was no longer in that process, and so.
And she's a full-time commissioner.
So thank you, Johnny, and I do feel full-time.
Don't interrupt.
Yeah, Johnny, don't interrupt.
Sorry.
So, but anyway, so that morning in March, with just right as we walked into session, a resolution was put forward by the county attorney, and it spelled out certain things about the charter board. Nobody had seen it in advance. It was not in board docs, so I did not have a chance to review it or ask questions. When I did say to Ms. Holtz that morning, what exactly is this? She said, and you can go back and look at the video, this is nothing more than some changes to make sure that we are doing everything constitutionally correct. I will tell you, I went to a meeting thereafter of the charter board, and I was like really kind of miffed because they sort of didn't want to hear from me and they wouldn't let me talk. And, well, it wasn't until much later that I realized what that resolution had done in March, unbeknownst to at least Commissioner Robinson and I, was that now suddenly Leonard Collins, who was actively lobbying for a particular sheriff candidate, and this isn't about the candidate, it's the fact that he was then appointed chair. This charter could very easily impact the sheriff's office. You can write a charter so that you don't have you have a police department. Suddenly, you have now 2 more people on this charter board that are political, one running for District 3, I believe. So I want you all to understand that commissioners really were interested in saying, what do the citizens think? Let there be a referendum. But once this charter committee took on this life of their own, they have now not even gone out and asked your opinion. They're writing a charter, and you know what they say? And this is actually if you watch the video. Well, we want to give people something to react to. Translation, we want to spoon feed it to them so that we get exactly what we want. So, Mr. Holland, I think that it's very unfortunate that we had this chance to maybe revisit our form of government. It doesn't have to be all the way charter. It doesn't have to be a county executive necessarily. It could be a hybrid. It could be many, many things. But instead, we squandered that opportunity. And I'm really sorry to hear that. But they're the background facts, and I hope that that
Okay,
information is
I'm
helpful.
going to segue from the last comment that Commissioner Kelly said about what type of government it would be. I think Commissioner Kelly and I thought that when we were even appointing the charter board, that their mission was going to be, do we need to do this, or we can come back with suggestions on how we can move forward. Now, as to my feeling on charter, I have strong ambivalence.
Me too.
On the one hand, I like the separation of powers. As we've seen from the last 3 years here, there's some pluses to that. On the other side, I'm scared of the separation of powers for the same reason. I mean, we've seen it in other jurisdictions in Maryland where you have somebody who's the county executive who could be corrupt and has been corrupt. The good news is it's going to be up to the voters, and you know, it really does come down to education and getting the word out. You know, I'm not going to pass judgment yet until I see what the actual charter is, onto whether or not I support it. The other good thing that the charter referendum will mean is that the general election will mean something in Charles County this year, because
I am a former police officer.